Good morning. This is Joy at joysTiny. Um, a subscriber had asked me to do a video on living intentionally. Now, living intentionally is an action word, or intentional. It means to be on purpose, do things on purpose. In other words, not haphazardly, not helter-skelter. Um, so it actually begins with your thinking first. You've got to think on purpose. You can't go out there and grab up any kind of thoughts that come into your head and dwell on them, because they're not all. You're not supposed to, if you want to live um, a good life. So if say for instance, I'm thinking about cleaning out my closet, and that thought comes across me. Well, okay, I got to start thinking critically about it all. Well, why do I need to clean out my closet? Well, because you've got a bunch of clothes in there that you don't wear anymore, or you never wore. You bought them and you come and stuck them in your closet, and you don't wear them, and they're just taking up space, taking energy out of your home that you're trying to create. So what do you need them for? What are they hanging in your closet for? Make space for the things that you really like and you use, and clothes that you love. So, okay, I've got the idea. I've thought about it. Now, what are you going to do about it? Well, I suppose I'm going to donate them or throw them away, or maybe I can make some rags out of some of them. I don't know. So, all right, I'm intended on, I'm going to make a decision, and it's got to be a quality decision. I'm intent on going in there and cleaning out that closet and getting rid of them so that I have more space. Okay, I go in, I clean them out, and my intention is to take them down to the Goodwill store. I got them all in my bag, and I don't want no more, and all of a sudden phone rings, and I run and take the phone, and I answer it, and I get distracted, so I just drop the bag of clothes down by my doorway in there. Now this is me. Now your scenario might be something different that distracts you. So I sit them down by my door. I got a doorway that leads into my bedroom from my living room area, and there's just a small space there. Now I have a walker, so I don't always use the walker, but when I'm stiff and need the walker, I have to maneuver it in that space there. But now all of a sudden that bag of clothes is in my way. It's clutter now. It's become clutter. And I keep getting distracted. My intentions, I've lost focus, and I've quit giving that thought the attention to get rid of those clothes. I've lost the attention for that. And so it's still sitting there, still sitting there, still sitting there, and then another thought creeps into my head. Well, since that's sitting there like that and you haven't gotten rid of it yet, why don't you go through some more stuff and get rid of it? Well, I keep piling it on top of that. Then I've developed more clutter, and I don't definitely have no room then to get through it with my walker. So I'm causing chaos for myself. So go back to my original thought, and let's do it without getting distracted. I stay focused on that idea, that thought, that cleaning out my closet, and get it out the door into the car, and I'm gonna make 2 trips with one um, thought. Okay, I'm gonna take us down to the Goodwill. Maybe I can go to the store while I'm down there. So that's using that one intention for 2 different things. But I didn't break my attention off of that intent that I was doing. So I cleaned out the closet, put it in the bag, sit it down until I got my purse and everything ready to roll out the door with it, and I've kept my attention on it. I kept my attention on intentionally getting rid of the clothes. That's just one simple scenario if you want to keep an uncluttered home. So that's one scenario. Okay, another. Okay, we'll go with my intentions or the thoughts that I want to live tiny. Okay, well that started way back in Florida. That I started wanting to. I started liking tiny houses, and watching them build them and everything. I thought, boy, I really would like to do that, because I remember when I was young, I used to there used to be a little closet type underneath the stairway, and I would go in there and I would use that as my comfort, my little home within my big house. It was a house, it wasn't a home. And I'd go in there and make me a home. So, but anyway, I got onto that, a tiny house, tiny living, and I kept thinking to myself, well, I'd like to have a tiny house. In fact, I'd like to start building them. Well, then I got sick. I called my daughter, and she said, when we talked about me coming back home, and she said, well, Mom, I know you're going to want your own space. So I got a friend that wanted to sell me a camper. So would you be interested? Well, I had to think about it, but I didn't have to think about it too long, because I needed a place to live if I'm coming back. So the thought came, the critical thinking came about. I had to start reasoning about it all and use my imagination that the Creator has given me to use. We are well equipped with things to live our life. And that is our thinking process, our ability to reason, our ability to imagine it. We've got a great imagination to use those tools that we've been given to make decisions in our life, and to make quality decisions, because that's the only way to make quality decision, not a haphazard decision, not a decision based on fear, not a decision based on emotions that I want to get up and run away and things like that. So that was a process. So thought about it, we talked about it, and I said, okay, let's do that. You set up the deal, and I'll go along with it. Okay, well, they did. They sent me pictures of it and everything. And of course, now here again is where I personally, myself, although I made a decision to do it, and it was a quality decision because I needed a home to live in if I was going to come back. And right at that point in time, it wasn't an option not to have. I didn't have any other options, let's put it that way. So it looked great. It looked great, you know. I mean, it was nice and clean and everything was in place. It was that camper. Again, we got to remember, it was a camper. It's a lot different than starting from scratch and building the walls up for your tiny house and putting all the things in where you want them and everything like that, and it's built to your specifications. A lot different than that. So, but I got here, and the first year was it was hard. It was hard, but I had to still had to figure out how I was going to make it work for me. Now, uh, there was some things in there that I had to do to live intentionally, and that was okay. I had to think, well, how am I going to stay warm? Well, it had a furnace. It was a propane furnace. All right, so we got to hook you up to electric, which that's what we did, and so that thought came. Oh, well, do you want this? Do you want that? Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're hooking you up to the electric. We're hooking you up to the sewer, and uh, we're going to fill the propane tanks, which were only 30-pounders. Okay, so that was thinking about it and making the move, putting it into action, living intentionally. Thinking, don't just jump in there and think, well, okay, what am I going to do now? Well, I'm cold. How come I'm cold? Well, because you didn't stop and think about filling up your propane tanks, or you didn't think about other avenues to get propane for your tanks. But we thought intentionally, and we moved on that thinking, and we put our thoughts into action. That's basically what living intentionally is. Putting your thoughts into action. That's like faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world that you're going to be taken care of and things are going to happen and stuff, but it's still all in your hands, that you've got to do the work to move towards your goal. So that was what I did for the first winter. Well, it was still cold. Okay, what can I do next? I'm sitting there thinking. My daughter's thinking. So she came up with the idea to bring down one of them oil-filled heaters, and they plugged it in up to their house, and that helped keep it warm in here. So then comes springtime, and I'm saying, I really don't think I could do another winter here. And my daughter was working at a low-income housing at the time, so they had an apartment I could go into, and I thought about it. I mean, I've been thinking about it for quite some time. What do I want to do this? I didn't like apartments, but I didn't want to spend another winter in the cold because I really wasn't totally prepared, even though the things that I was doing to live in the camper was intentionally done. So made plans. I moved into the apartment, and that was all done intentionally. I didn't just jump up and run off and go grab an apartment someplace. I mean, it was all thought out. And but that didn't happen though until after springtime. Before I decided to do all that, springtime come around, and I told my brother, I said, man, I can't live in this and make it a home if this is here and that's there and everything. So he came and helped me disassemble the 4 bunk beds that was in this room, and helped me disassemble different times, different things in there, in the other part of the camper. So those were all intentional. Those were intentional to open up my space so that I could make it into a home. And so then that all happened, but I still then made the quality decision to move to the apartments, to at least try it until I could sit down and think properly about what I wanted to do with my camper. So then the East Palestine train wreck happened, and my son was living there, and he needed a home to go to, so we told him that he could go stay in my camper, but it was only temporary till he could find a place. Well, or till I wanted it back. Well, I stayed in the apartments a year, and it was wearing on me because of all the negativity around there and everything, and it was not fun. I couldn't get into making it into a home. I mean, I tried, but it wasn't working. So I said I would like to have my camper back. Well, okay, my son and my daughter ended up getting him a shed that he's turning into a tiny home. So and then I moved in. Well, then I knew more about what it was that it was going to take for me to build a home out of this. So I would sit. I mean, I've done this since 1984. My mornings started out with having tea in the mornings, sitting there and contemplating and listening for wisdom and guidance from the creator within, that still small voice. And so that, I mean, I have been doing that since 1984, and so I continued to do this while I moved back in here, and different ideas would come to me and stuff. And I have moved things around here, there, and everywhere because of trying to make it into a home for myself. And but when a thought would come from out of nowhere, well, what do you mean? What do you mean that can never happen? And so you take no thought. Or now, if you take thought to it, and you start thinking on it, and it's not someplace that you really want to take yourself to, you can start going in the direction that thought wants to take you, and you end up doing it, but it's not intentional. It's out of emotion, it's out of fear, it's out of whatever. But if you sit down and think about the purposely, don't take a thought that just comes into your head. Think on purpose. Okay, like I'll be sitting here. Well, let's see, this is a small room, and I would like to have my music in here, and I really would like to have a place that I could sit and work on my bills and things like that. I'd like to have a place that I could sit and have my coffee in the mornings and contemplate, and I'd like to have a place to do my videos and stuff like that. So, all right, how can I do that? Well, then I start thinking and I start developing in my imagination. And once I've made the decision about how I'm going to go about doing that, then I start moving towards putting it into action. That's living intentionally. Not just going helter-skelter Well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to buy this because, well, what are you going to buy that for? What, because you like the looks of it, or because it's going to be useful to you, or people don't think that way. I was like that once. I didn't think intentionally all my life. I just go out and buy it or get it or do it or whatever because. So I don't know. All I know is that if you want to have a joyful, peaceful life, and everybody's different. Everybody's different. Some people love living in great big homes and houses and spending money galore. But if you want a peaceful, serene life, and you don't want all that hubbub about all the bills that you got to pay and the money that's going out and this and that, and you want to have money in your pocket, then downsize. I mean, I did. It might not be for you. Um, I believe that I could live just about anywhere I chose to. If I wanted a big house and live high on the hog with things and stuff like that, well, then could find a way to do that. But I got to be reasonable. I got to know that a great big space at this point in time in my life would be too hard on me walking from this point to that point. Having not just enough space in between things, and I still got places that I can hold on to, because when I get up out of my chair, I'm stiff. And my legs lock up and my ankles lock up, or they want to buckle on me. So a small space is good for me right now. So live intentionally, live on purpose, and I hope this video helped you. I don't know. If it didn't, I'll try to find a better way to explain it, and I'll have more videos on this from time to time. But and I'm going to do some shorts, and I'm going to do. I want to try to do a video on being your own boss, being your own corporation of your life. So again, I'll leave you with this. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So y'all have a great day. Goodbye.